Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I made it. I know I'm a little bit late, but that's okay. I did make it at least, which is good. I was actually on earlier today. If you noticed, some of you know I was on Kid Cabello's show, Hard Lens Media, this morning at around 10 a.m. Eastern. Did that show for about 2 hours, and I also recorded a show with Lou Perez. I don't know when that's coming out, but when that comes out, we will post that also. And I was on Kim Iverson yesterday. So those of you who might notice, I've been bouncing around a bit this week, trying to do some extra goodies because I will be away this weekend. I don't know if I'll be doing a show this weekend or not, but tomorrow I will be doing an AMA. Tonight, I am chatting about an issue that I often want to talk about. And someone sent me a video, and it's funny, someone sent me a video to look at, and someone sent me a link. They wanted me to, an article they wanted me to see. So I saw two separate things that kind of came together. So I thought, you know what? Let me double up on this one. Let me double up and talk about in general what is going on kind of in the job market, where it's going, all those things like that, right? So that's, yeah, I want to cover all those. But the first thing I want to bring up is actually something from an NPR, from npr.org. This was sent to me by somebody who wanted me to talk about this issue. It is the idea on why Americans aren't filling the manufacturing jobs we already have. And it's really an interesting part, right? In that with this market the way it is a tough job market. For those of you who are looking for work, you know, if you know someone who's looking for work, it's challenging. It's challenging finding a job that you want, that pays the amount of money that you want to be paid, that has the hours that you're looking for. All those things is difficult. Some people are just saying, hey, I don't care. I'll take any type of job. Some people are saying, I don't want a job. I'd rather stay home and check out. That's happening too. And some people are just struggling. And I get it. It is very challenging. But this article that he talks about the idea, it's called Why Aren't Americans Filling the Manufacturing Jobs We Already Have? It talks about the idea that we have been pushing people to do manufacturing jobs for a while. Biden threw a lot of money at it. I know the Build Back Better program and the CHIPS Act and all that stuff. He threw tons of money at it, which is a thing that we do. Now, can that work? Yes, it can. Depends on where you put it, how you put it, whatever. The problem is, there's many problems to it, but can it work? Can it work to make manufacturing jobs? Yes. The problems that come with it is, first off, more debt for the American government. So without question, even though you may get more manufacturing jobs, you raise inflation. So that's option one. Second piece, it takes forever. This money has been put in back in the Joe Biden years, like 3 years ago, and we've seen almost none of it really come to fruition. Why? Because government makes everything go to snail's pace. So it's slow, and it's done by, 4 years earlier than it should have been. I mean, later than it should have been done. So now, because it's so slow, it's not the same skill that you want to have, the same technology that you want to have as fast as technology moves. But can it physically make jobs? Yes, because government's buying jobs. So it can do that. It's just nowhere near as efficient as it could be. But it does happen. It does happen. So he goes on, the article goes on to talk about this. It says, last year, the Manufacturing Institute, a nonprofit aimed at developing America's manufacturing workforce, and Deloitte, a consultancy firm, surveyed more than 200 manufacturing companies. More than 65% of the firm said recruiting and retaining workers was their number one business challenge. To be clear, number one. That means 2 in 3 are saying number one challenge is not getting more clients, revenue. No, technology. Number one is recruitment and retention. That is hard. Now, Biden spent over $2 trillion trying to make this happen. I mean, I guess that's nice, trying to spend money at it. It makes you feel good. I got it, right? He brings up things like the Investment and Jobs Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, the Inflation Reduction Act. These are all spent at trying to prop up manufacturing jobs. But with that in mind, people still aren't taking those jobs. The question is, why aren't they, right? Why aren't people taking those jobs? According to NPR, they've got a whole bunch of reasons. They're saying, here we go. See if I can find it. The Manufacturing Institute and Deloitte projected the industry will need 3.8 million additional workers by 2033, and that as many as 1.9 million of those jobs could go unfulfilled if workforce challenges are not addressed. Those workforce challenges, all those bodies we need. There's 8 million men who've checked out. Now, if you listen to Mike Rowe, he says 7 million. Some people say 10 million. I'm saying 8. It doesn't matter. It's minimum 7. Well, they only need 3.8 million workers. There's 7 million checked out. If only half of them unchecked out, they could fill those jobs if they wanted to. They don't want to. They don't want to. Who do you think they're going to try to get to fill those jobs? You guessed it, migrants. Yes. They knew this years ago. This is the migrant crisis. That's crisis. This is the migrant crisis. They want them to fill these jobs, right? But here's the issue. It isn't just that simple. He keeps on going this. He says here, a period in which there's been a substantial increase in manufacturing. It's a very recent phenomenon. Throwing money at it makes sense. I think we can fill those jobs, but we're not going to fill them overnight. And this is the next piece. One big reason manufacturers can't fill these jobs overnight is because they require workers to have particular skills. It's not just skill needed to work on assembly lines. Only around 2 in 5 manufacturing jobs are directly involved in making stuff. So 3 in 5 are not. So where are those? Engineering, design, finance, sales, marketing, and so on. Let's not forget those. We're going to come back to this. Of those he brought up, design, finance, sales, marketing, research, development. So research, engineering, design, finance, sales, marketing. Of those, the only one I ever talk about is engineering. I talk about that all the time. Engineering's key. All the rest of those, they're saying those are the things we need. Okay, makes sense. I like that. That sounds good. Here is a quick list of the top 10 jobs within the next 5 years that will be replaced by AI. Customer service, data entry, telemarketing. Yeah, I just mentioned that. Paralegal, graphic design, market research, retail sales, teachers and coding. Those are the top 10. Out of what they all mention here that these guys need, only one of them will be required in the next 5 years. So if you can't replace pull these people up in the next 5 years, you won't need them. AI will fill this. We are so slow, AI will fill this. Now, will it totally fill it? It won't. But if they need 3.8 million, at least 75% of those are going to go away. Yes, at least 75% of those, 75% will go away. So they might need 25% of those. And those people, the skills people are going to need are not the skills in those things. They're the skills in controlling the AI and the technology that would do those things. So you have to be able to deal with the AI and the technology, not the actual things. A whole different way of looking at it. That's a piece that's happening. Now they're going to say the next thing. Is manufacturing paying high enough? And here's the issue. A classic solution to apparent worker shortage is offering higher pay. That's what most people would say immediately. Well, if you paid your people, they'd come. I've been telling you that's not true for years. That is a left-leaning talking point. That is a Democratic talking point. Anytime there's a problem, it's because you don't pay them enough, because greedy corporations. No, I've been telling you that's not true, and it isn't true. Now, if you pay, can you increase the number of people who take jobs? Yes, you can increase it, but it doesn't solve the problem. And they even say that, right? They're saying that, look, that will convince some workers to invest in acquiring the coveted skills. The issue is they need the skills. So even if you pay them more, it doesn't matter. They can't do the job or don't want to do the job. And you have people now, this guy, he's an AI guy. He says, this guy says, he's Oren Cash. You guys probably know him. He's a founder of American Compass. It's a conservative think tank. He says, I have less than zero sympathy, surprise, for employers who go around complaining about labor shortages and skill gaps. He jokes that he has a slide hustle running an incredible innovative biotech firm. It employs leading scientists at $10 an hour. He's teasing, right? But yeah, He's at 500,000 job openings as well, and I can't fill any of them. Yeah, it's true. You have to be able to be a scientist, number one, and get paid. So you need skill set and the dollars. The people is we don't have it. We don't have it. So manufacturers have hiked their pay, and that's still a good thing. I'm not against hiking pay. You should. That's a good thing if you can. But here's the problem. One of the reasons why people went overseas is because of the high pay here. So how do we get around that? Well, we get around that by having one or two people instead of 6 or 7, right? 1 or 2, and a bunch of AIs. Because now the individual American worker can be more productive using AI, so the individual worker can be paid more. The sad part is that's less overall jobs, but it is higher quality jobs for those who can do it. And that's probably going to be the future. The future is going to be one engineer or whomever or sales rep or whatever that runs an AI that's equivalent of 4, 5, or 6 of them and then gets double the pay, right? So we get a lot more pay to do more work, but they're not doing the work. They're controlling the other AIs who do the work, the technicians or the machines, whatever the case may be. Looking at Peace Logic over on Rumble, he says, AI is moving quickly. If you are in the job market, you absolutely need to be competent using AI tools. I tell my daughters that every day, and sadly, they don't listen. I wish they would. Their school tells them AI is cheating, AI is wrong. As usual, our schools are terrible and stupid. AI is not cheating, AI is the future. And our schools are telling them, don't do that, you can't do that, it's bad. AI is going to replace most colleges. I'm not even joking. Do you know one of the things I said there? Teachers. Out of the 10, number 9 was teachers. There is one thing that you can do in education that demonstrably, all the time, consistently shows an improvement in learning, skills, and better people educated. You know what that is? One-on-one tutoring. That's the thing that guarantees it. Every other change you make may or may not have a positive impact. All depends on when, how much, where it is. But every single time you want a positive impact, you go to individual tutoring. I know both my daughters had tutors. That's how the New York system works, by the way. In New York City, if you can either afford tutors or have someone at home who can tutor your kids, you can be very successful. If not, you get a crappy education. You might go, Larry, that's not true. That's 100% true. That's how that works. If you can afford tutors or have someone at home who can tutor in New York, you can get a good education. If you don't, you get a mediocre education at best. AI can become that tutor. It's already there. And if your kids aren't using AI to tutor you, you are messing up. AI should be tutoring. And if your school says, don't use AI, your school's just backward. Who cares? It doesn't matter anyway. Most schools, sadly, are being useless. AI is the future. It's going to happen. And that's going to affect this too. So I get what they're saying. Pay more. True, they should. But skill set matters. If you don't have a skill set, it's not going to work. This guy, Cass, thinks that tariffs can help. I don't like tariffs. However, I do think if your goal is to skew the market so more people do business in America, I think they can help and do that with the proper policies in place, right? I think it can work. Will it work? I don't know, right? He goes on to say that it's a big if because American manufacturing has been seeing an alarming slowdown in productivity growth. That's a problem. That's a problem. What's going to change productivity? AI. That's the issue. That is the issue. So we go on to say, here he says, this guy Lee agrees that they will be able to entice more people by offering higher pay. However, she says the industry's issues with recruitment and retention go beyond dollars and cents. That's everywhere. For one, she suggests manufacturing has a PR problem. We've been telling our kids for years, don't go into the trades, don't go to factory work. That's for the bad kids. That's for the dumb kids. Don't do that. Go to college and get some cool computer job and make 6 figures magically. And don't worry about all that debt. Shh, don't worry about the debt. That's what we've been telling them, and we've been lying. Lee goes on to say, though, let's see here. She suggests that many imagine them in a dirty, monotonous, and dangerous factory job depicted in Charles Dickens novels. True. But Lee says they're actually clean and bright and full of technology. Also true. She sees changing American perceptions about manufacturing as one crucial part of convincing more young people to work in the sector. Yes, absolutely true. That's what we should be doing. Yes, 100%. And not just that. I want to move to another piece if I could. We want people to believe that they can manufacture, meaning I don't have to necessarily build some massive, facility. I can have a small facility with 3D printing and I can manufacture in my garage. I'm dead serious. I can manufacture all over the place. Yes, I think that's the key. She goes on to say, these jobs are in factories that are completely different from the factories of 25 years ago. They require people to know how to use pretty sophisticated machinery. Yes, the hardest skill to find are the ones that maintain and fix equipment. Yeah, you don't have to go to school for that. You don't have to go to, you don't have to go to college for that. You can go to trade school for that. Yes. Harry Moser, a founder and president of Reshoring Initiative, argues that America should invest much more in apprenticeships. What I've been talking about for 8 years. Yes. According to Third Way, they say America's working age population is only 0.3% in apprenticeships. 0.3%. Switzerland, which has a larger percentage, clearly almost 4%. 0.3 to 4%. Huge difference. A huge difference. We're not doing this. Manufacturing jobs are going to bring back. We're in trouble, guys. We're in trouble. Because by the time we get our people to be able to do these skilled jobs, AI may take over. And if we're not getting our youngsters to use AI, and still to this day in college, they're saying AI is cheating. How is AI cheating? It's the future. That's like saying, don't use a car. That's cheating. You have to walk to school. What do you care? Drive to school, put a bike to school. Who cares? Get the right answer using AI works totally as good as anything else, because when you get into the world, you're going to use AI. Or you're not going to have a job. What are we doing here? This is just showing it. He goes on to say, Lee says today's manufacturing jobs often require some combination of knowledge of electrical systems, mechanical systems, logic controllers, hydraulic power, and robots. And this is either apprenticeship or maybe, again, as I mentioned all the time, engineering. I was telling you the degrees that make you do well. One of them is engineering. Another one's nursing. But these are degrees that work, degrees that are going to be good for you. If your kid wants to be an engineer, go get a law degree to be a lawyer, but only to be a lawyer. Paralegals being replaced. Being replaced. Legal assistants being replaced. Only to be a lawyer. Doctor, yes, if you want to be a doctor, I don't know why you would with a current system, but I get that, right? Engineer, critical thing. You know who's pumping out tons of engineers? The Indians and the Chinese. Not us. Not us. We're still going $100,000 in debt for liberal arts and whatever else garbage we're putting together. We're doing that still. We haven't figured it out yet. I've been yelling about this for 7 years, and we're still screwing up. Yes. This guy tells us about a 21-month program that you can go through. Each week, they spend 3 days at a factory and 2 days at a community college. At the end of 21 months, less than 2 years, students come out with, in most cases, no college debt. No college debt and a job there. Now, he says 5 years after completion of this program, graduates are earning nearly $98,000 per year. So you go in there at 18, you come out at 22, now you're 27, making $98K a year average with no student debt. This is not a bad deal. 27? 5 years, you'd be 25. 25, you'd be 25 years old, making $98K a year. This is not a bad deal at all. This is not a bad deal at all. I'm like, if I'm 18, I'm like, let's do that. I want that one. I want to be 25 making $98K a year when most people of that age range are maybe making $40K if they're lucky and have 6 figures in debt. Yes. And have 6 figures in debt. So yes. It's funny, you're talking about in Japan in 2019, Toyota was talking about this already in 2019. I was talking about it in 2018. I was ahead of Japan. I was ahead of the game. So yes, that's the biggest deal. That's the biggest point. All right. Yes, another question. What warrants all interventions to boost one sector of the economy. Is manufacturing actually special, right? And if so, why is it so special? The problem is, I don't know if it is. Some parts are important. I don't know if all of them are. I hope you guys enjoyed reading that. Someone sent that to me when we talk about it, so I thought that was kind of interesting, right? That's where we are when it comes to manufacturing, all those awesome manufacturing jobs. So yeah, thought that was kind of cool. Let me grab a couple comments before I move on. And guys, when I have a couple things I'm going to show you, but before I go there, guys, if you like what I'm talking about, if it makes sense to you, if it's interesting, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please click that button. It matters tremendously. I know I bug you multiple times every show because it matters. I get shadow banned horribly. So please help me out with that. If you can share this or repost this someplace, do so. I struggle to get this out. You keep seeing, those of you who watch, keep seeing how I'm right constantly, but no one seems to pay attention because I fought the lockdowns 5 years ago, and social media will never let me forget it, ever. If you haven't followed me already on Sharpe Way, on Larry Sharpe, and on Facebook, and on X and Rumble, please do so. If you do subscribe, make sure you click that all notifications so you get that. If you want your chat to go to the front, you can super chat me or rant me, either one. I don't care which one you do. Whichever one you do is great. Also, YouTube membership, $49 per month. Click that join button. The more members, the better. I can spend more time doing this and less time working. Got to pay bills, so just like you do. And of course, also become a Rumble member if you want to. Click subscribe button. And also, if you can go over to Rumble and click, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I'm about 440, give or take. If you could pop up there, that'd be amazing. I appreciate it. That would also be cool. But no matter what, please click that button. It does matter. And if you're on like Facebook, click one of the other buttons, like the hug or the love or something, because that matters too. You can do different ones if you want to. They're all good. All right, let me grab a couple of these comments if I can. You have a bunch of them here. Roger says, that was me who sent that link. True, Roger, it was. It was Roger. That is true. Yes, absolutely. Shelly says, in your 20s, you should take every job and all the overtime you can get. Can't do it at my age. It's a valid point. It's a valid point, right? If you can, you should take as much as you can. Yes, if you can, you should, right? If you're in that spot. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. Liberty says, at Shelly, Larry was on a hard lens media with Kit Cabela for 2 hours. True. I was on for 2 hours. That's true. And I'll be on for probably 2 hours tonight. I yap a lot. And I was on for an hour this morning with Lou Perez. See, that's why I'm late here. My entire morning was doing either live or recorded shows. Then I had to do some work to pay some bills. Then I had to eat. Then I had to rush here. So I get overwhelmed with stuff that I'm trying to get done. It can be very challenging, but that's why I bug you guys to be members. That's why I bug you. So I could spend more, so I could spend less time working and more time doing this. So yes, Liberty says, here's the Kim Iverson show. That was yesterday. I did about an hour with her yesterday. So Kim is amazing. Love that woman. She's great. I know some people don't like her. I don't care. I love her. She's amazing. She's awesome. She has one of the reasons why I love Kim so much is because she just keeps going, even when people get in her face, even when people give her back. She doesn't stop. She used to be on Rising. If you guys know that, she used to be a co-host on Rising, but she stood up for her views on the Israel-Gaza piece, and they kind of got rid of her. They didn't like what she was saying on the way she was she wasn't Israel. Sorry, wrong one. On the she was anti-jab. Sorry, wrong person. That was Brown Joy Gray who got booted for that one. Yes, no. Different person. Kim got booted because she was like, no. I am anti-jab, anti-mandate. I'm anti-mandate. And you're like, oh, then you got to go. And so she had to go. So I love her to death. She's amazing. I'm happy to have her be around her show, on her show. She actually also co-hosted a libertarian presidential debate with me 2 years ago. So anyway, yes, you can see her. I go on the show anytime she asks. I never tell Kim no. Never tell her no. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can keep moving down here for a couple more before I keep going. All righty. Kim. Oh, yeah. I've also looked for Kim Iverson with Larry Sharpe with no luck. Maybe Larry can put a link in the description. There we go. She took care of that already. Yep. That will work. Okay. Kim says AI can do most of those jobs. Yes. There's another piece. Roger says only when workers have ownership, true ownership, not stock options, but ownership / control, then more will be at stake because workers have the power in the company. Real power, that's when these jobs will fill up. I don't know about that, Roger. You know me. I am for people having ownership. I'm all about ownership mindset. I agree with you. More people should have the option of one or two things. In the perfect world, in my wonderful imaginary world that would be perfect, I would love it to where every worker has a couple of options. I would say the worker should have 4 options. Option 1, go on your own, be a contractor, don't care, do your own thing. Option 1, if you want that. You want freedom. You don't want to be connected to the company. You want to have multiple jobs. Up to you. Good. That's option 1. Option 2, work and be a unionized member, right? Work and be part of a union. You like the union. You want to be part of a union. It should be an easy option for you. You don't want ownership. You just want to be protected by a union. No worries. Option 3, you want to work, but you don't like a union. You want to be able to negotiate your own pricing. You want to be able to negotiate all your own stuff. Good for you. Do that. Or 4, you want to have ownership in the company. You want to be part of a co-op. I think those should be the 4 options that every worker has. Because some people like, dude, I don't want this. Like, they don't want what you want, Roger. They're like, I don't want to be part of this. All I want is to get my paycheck and go home. If I'm part of a union, good. I'm a union guy. I'm gonna take my check. I don't want this. And some people are like, no, I want in. I want to be able to say, I want to have true democracy in my workforce. I'm not mad at anybody who wants what they want. Some people just want to be like freelancers. The problem is most of us don't have the choice. Our current system, most people are forced into being gig workers because they can't get anything, which is the wrong reason to be a gig worker. I'm not against gig workers. Some people love that lifestyle, and I'm okay with that. But it's bad when you're forced into it. That sucks. That's when I hate that part. Or whatever job the government will give me also sucks. And sometimes you're forced into a union when you don't want to be in a union. You're paying union dues, you don't like a union, right? Or your union dues is giving money to a candidate which you hate. You don't have a choice. You got to join that union. Or you don't get a chance in a co-op because nobody wants to give you one because the government won't back it. Banks won't bank it. So we're in a bad spot. I agree with you. I would want to happen. I'm not sure, though. I think time will tell is what I'll say, Roger. Time will tell whether co-ops will perform better in the market or not. I don't know if they will. My gut tells me, and the evidence that I have, my gut tells me that the companies that will do the best will be those that have some form of hybrid model. Now, I don't have data on that. That's just my gut. So take that for whatever you want. I think hybrid models will be the most successful because I think hybrid models will have the happiest employees and also the happiest managers. That's what I think. I think hybrid model is probably the best bet. Like that, a company that gives you all the options. You could vest into it if you wanted to. I think that would work. That's just my gut. But if we get what we want, Roger, people can do this, we'll find out. We will literally find out. Yes. So Shelly says, I paid my employees a percentage of the cash register, and they were fiercely loyal, happy employees. Ooh, look at that. There we go. Susan says, AI is a total disaster with healthcare trying to get an appointment. I can't understand you. Call again, click. Total disaster. Yes, it's bad, but it will get better, and it's not going away. Susan, you're right. It's not good yet. There is a terrible transition period, but it's not going away. But yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm a Gen X guy. I'd like to talk to somebody, right? Gen Z and Millennials, they don't want to talk to nobody. They're totally happy with this. I'm not. Yes. Peace. How are you, my friend? Thank you for being a member. He says, one person is now 10 with AI. True. It's a great time to start a business. The chaos is the opportunity. It will be some time before AI skills are ubiquitous. Yes, on its way. But yes, you're right. Yes, that is correct. So we are slowly getting there. Yeah. Kim says, try his, this is why UBI will happen. I'm not saying you're wrong, Kim. A lot of people talking about Lars Maps that talked about it. He said that's going to be the biggest issue in 2028 is going to be UBI. Yeah, I'm going to show you a video. It's a 2.5 hour video. I'm only going to show you a couple minutes of it, but it's 2.5 hour video. If you want to watch it, it brings up all those things and it's timestamped. So yes, Mr. Hand says AI rots your brain. It's here to stay. It doesn't have to rot your brain. What I would argue, Mr. Hand, is social media rots your brain. AI doesn't. You can use AI to do a lot of stuff. You really can. So, yes. Morgan's, it's funny. Morgan's with you, Susan. Morgan says, I'm going to sound like a boomer here, but if someone has been trying to get an actual person on the phone, it's utterly frustrating. True. You were not wrong. Yes, absolutely. Sarah says, Larry, are those AI teaching programs advertised on YouTube legitimate? I'm interested in learning and catching up. Yes. Now, I don't know if everyone is, but yes, AI can teach a lot. I've used AI to teach. My daughter has done it also, right? My oldest one has. My youngest one is still being belligerent. But my oldest one has been using AI to learn stuff. Yes. I'm giving you my opinion here, guys, and you can think I'm crazy or not. Jump on the AI train now. Just jump on it now. It is not going away. Find the way to use it the way you feel comfortable. I would grab the AI piece that you like best. I'd sample them, and then I'd get the whatever one you trust or believe in most. I'd pay them monthly $20 or whatever it's going to cost you for the one you want, and I start to train it to do what you want to do. It can really get a lot of stuff. It can really be better. So yes, absolutely. So I think that's something for you to consider. So Andrew says, are you familiar with job stacking? Yes, and that's going to happen too. That's in that video. Let me go to the video right now if I can. This is a piece I wanted to bring up because it's kind of important what he brings up. This is from the Diary of a CEO. This is a relatively recent one. It is called Which Jobs Will Be Replaced by AI. It's about 2.5 hours. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do a couple minutes of it, but it is a good one to watch if you want to see what this is about. I put a link to the description is in it. There's a link there to the description, in the description if you want to see it. Watch the entire thing. Once this is over, stay with me, then watch it, but stay with me. Yes.
Is what jobs, because I know that you have this perspective, what jobs are going to be made redundant in a world where I am sat here as a CEO with 1,000 AI agents.
Right.
I was thinking of all the names of the people in my company who are currently doing those jobs. I was thinking about my CFO when he talked about processing business data, my graphic designers, my video editors, etc.
Every one of those I mentioned, top 10 jobs going to go away. Customer service rep, data entry, telemarketer, bookkeeping accountant. They're all going away by AI. So he's talking about paralegal, legal assistant going away, graphic designer going away, market research going away, retail sales going away, teachers going away, and sadly, coders going away. Yes. Remember they told us, learn how to code. Well, that was dumb.
So what jobs are going to be impacted?
Yeah, all of those. So I think,
and what do they do?
You know, maybe this is useful for the audience. I think if your job is as routine as it comes, your job is gone in the next couple of years. So meaning if in those jobs, for example, quality assurance jobs, data entry jobs, you're sitting in front of a computer and you're supposed to click and type things in a certain order. Operator and those technologies are coming on the market really quickly, and those are going to displace a lot of labor.
Accountants,
lawyers. Yes.
I mean, I've just pulled a ligament in my foot, and they did an MRI scan, and I had to wait a couple of days for someone to look at the MRI scan and tell me what it meant.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's gone.
Yeah, I think the healthcare ecosystem is hard to predict because of regulation.
Yep.
And again, there's so many limiting factors on how this technology can permeate.
But they're even talking about this. The guys talk about, believe it or not, anesthesiologists. Yes. In this video, they talk about the idea that the highest paid salary job in the country, salaried, right? There are other people who make more money, but salary job in the country is anesthesiologist. It's the highest paid salary job in the country. AI can do it. Yes. Now, I remember someone years ago told me, they said, Larry, you don't understand why people pay for doctors. Someone's going to pay for all their education. I said, that's not true. He said, of course, why doctors get paid so much? Because their skill set is very valuable for what they do, right? They save lives, or if people can do so, you pay because of scarcity. The number one reason a price goes up is because of scarcity. That's the number one reason, is scarcity. If there's a lot of it, the price goes down. There's less value in it, right? Well, if all of a sudden AI can do an anesthesiologist's job, your salary is going away. And they asked this guy this in this video. I'm not going to show you that part, but in this video, they asked this guy this. And he says, what are you going to do? He said, if you're an anesthesiologist, start saving. That was his answer. Start saving because you're about to lose your job. or your salary is about to go down by like 2/3 because they don't have to pay anymore. A qualified nurse now with AI will be able to be a more effective anesthesiologist because of AI. Sounds crazy. Yes. Kim says, Kim left Rising because they wouldn't let her be part of the interview with Fauci. Correct. Yes, it was the jab. Correct. Rick says, Kim quit because they wouldn't let her on her own when Dr. Mengele, or maybe it was Fauci. It's not much of a difference. Rick, you're right there. Yes. So yes, because of that. Wrong one. I swapped the two. So yes, you're correct. Yeah, we swapped it. So there we go. All right.
It's the economy because of regulations and people's willingness to take it. But things, unregulated jobs that are purely text in, text out. If your job, you get a message and you produce some kind of artifact that's like probably text or images, that job is at risk.
So just to give you some stats here as well.
Yep.
About 50% of Americans who have a college degree currently use AI.
50% use AI.
The stats are significantly lower for Americans without a college degree. So you can see how a splinter might emerge there, and that crack will widen because people like us at this table are all messing around with it. But my mum and dad in Plymouth in the southwest, rural England, haven't got, like, they just figured out iPhones. So like I got them an iPhone and now they're like texting me back. AI is a million miles away. And if I start running off with my AGI and my agents, that gap is going to widen.
That is one of my biggest concerns with this whole thing, is that the gap between haves and have-nots may increase even more. Yes, may increase even more.
Disproportionately affected by automation, which is what you were talking about there, with about 80% of working women in an at-risk job.
80% of working women are in at-risk job. Let me repeat that so you hear this. 80%. You are seeing layoffs happen now. It's already happening. Who are most of the people being laid off now? It's women. I brought that up months ago. Remember I brought this up months ago? I was talking about how it's not the women's fault, that they're getting hammered now, and that all those quotas they put up trying to help women are now screwing women over. They're all getting fired now. You see them laid off everywhere. You see the TikTok videos every day, TikTok full of women crying because they're getting laid off all over the place. 80%. Let me quickly go down this list. I wrote this out because I was so worried about this. Customer service rep. That was out of the 10. That was number 10 of the top 10. Customer service rep, 70% women. Data entry, 80% women. Telemarketer, 70% women. Basic accounting, bookkeeping, 80% women. Paralegal, legal assistant, 85% women. Graphic designer, not so bad, 55% women. So men get hammered on that one too. Market research analysis, 65% women. Retail sales, 60% women. Teachers, 70% women. And that's across the world. You look at America, it's more like 80%. Coder, that part, they don't get screwed. That's only 30% women. That's mostly men. So the coder part, men get hit. Every other one of those top 10, women are slaughtered. What's going to happen when tens of millions of women get laid off? All those women who don't have families, all those women who have kids and don't have a man. How come they don't have a man? Because 8 million men already checked out. Yeah. So the men checked out, a lot of women getting fired. This is not good. This is not good. So now those women have an option. Government assistance, that's option one. Option two, worst job. And the problem is most of these women have been trained to not take less. Why? They went and got degrees. They're all degreed up. Many of them have master's degrees. Are they going to overtake a job for $35,000 a year when they got $100,000 in college debt and used to make 6 figures and got a master's degree? Not taking that job. Their pride won't let them. Their pride won't let them. Well, they'll go marry a rich man. Where's that rich man? I got 8 million men checked out. That's not a thing. They're going to have to marry some guy who doesn't have a college degree, who makes $100,000 or $98,000 a year. They got to marry that guy. That's beneath them. They got a master's degree. They got to marry some guy who doesn't have a college degree. I wish I was joking. That's what women say. Women want to marry a man who has an education level of them. Well, those guys don't exist anymore. They're either already married, already divorced, don't want a man, or woman, either one, don't want a man or woman, or they've checked out, or they don't have a college degree. This is bad on top of bad.
To just over 50% of men, according to the Harvard Business Review, and jobs requiring only.
That piece right there is a chunk I really want you to see. This is very good, by the way. If you have a chance, please check it out. I put the link in the I put the link in the job description, so you can check that out if you want to. So it's really affecting a lot, right? It's affecting a lot. So let me grab a couple more comments. I have one more thing I want to show you if I could. All righty. That Liberty Lady says, to me, AI is like when computers first came out. Get on board or get left behind. Sadly, you're right. Mr. Hand says it's not going away, and it's also not going to get any better. I think you're right. Now, there are people who will tell you, and that's also mentioned in this video. It's a very good video. If you guys have a chance, you should watch it. It talks about the idea of abundance, and there's a chance there'll be a lot of abundance. I think that's true. There is a chance there will be a lot of abundance. That could happen. The question is, do we really want it? Do we want to have it to where people don't have purpose? Where everything's given to you? Yes. If anyone knows the story of Mousetopia, you know what I mean. Google that if you want to. So Peace Logic, thank you for the shout out, says, shout out to Andrew Yang, the war on normal people. What do you think, Larry? Is that when most people started to pay attention to the AI dilemma? Maybe. I could buy. Look, I like Yang. He's a friend of mine. I think he's a great guy. I like him. He talked about UBI a long time ago. So he was kind of on board well, he's a tech guy. So of course he saw that coming, right? He's a tech guy. He saw that coming. There's no doubt. Peace goes on to say, tip, AI can teach you how to use AI. Correct. Literally, if you don't know how to use AI, you can literally take your AI piece and say, hey, how can I use you best? I'm not joking. You should be having a conversation with your AI if at all possible. How do I use you best? And AI, well, what do you do? And the AI will go back and forth with you until you figure out how you can use AI best. I'm not joking. There's lots of AIs, tons of them. In fact, Peace says, hold on, if I could find Peace, he put something here. Peace, sure. Okay. Peace says, if you head over to Rumble, you'll see what he put. He put it's a good YouTube channel for AI tools and news. So it's over on Rumble. So you have to go to Rumble to see it, unless he posted it here too. But I know he posted on Rumble. So you can check that out if you want to, for those you want to be, involved. So yes. Let's see if I can go here. Mr. Hand says, would you trust a qualified nurse to use AI and not accidentally kill you? Not me. You won't have a choice, Mr. Hand. You won't have a choice. The hospitals want to save money. And AI will statistically be better than a non-AI. That's how it works, right? It's similar to chess or anything else, right? AI is a better chess player. AI will be a better, is it called anesthesiologist, right? Will be a better one. So it will be better than whatever it is normally, right? Medical accidents is a common way people die, to include anesthesiologists, of course. So yeah, it will be better. You have a choice. That's who you're going to get, and it's going to be better. So I wish it would matter, but that's how it works. Ken, how are you, brother? No matter what your career, when the government takes a large portion of your paycheck, it makes it harder for the majority of people to get by. True. Absolutely true. Yes. Phil says, thank you for $2. AI helped me write 200-page books in a weekend. Yes. There are YouTube videos, YouTube channels, all AI making money. All AI making money. You're right, Phil. AI, I know this is becoming like an AI thing. This wasn't the goal. I have something else I want to show you. Besides that, I just thought, I just thought about that. Yes. My VLA says, what about self-employed versus a W-2 job? Larry has me figured out now. The future, and the government has not figured this out. I've been saying this for years. The idea of having a job is going away. That's why the government has to force it. If you've noticed, particularly in part of what Kit's going through, part of what people in California go through, Illinois, New York go through, is the state just decides you are an employee. Shut up and be an employee. Why does the state care? One, it supports the big business, which they want, and two, they get their taxes off you. So they push you. The state is doing it, always does. The government is holding us all back. More and more people would like to be self-employed. More and more would like to, but the government is going out of its way to make that a bad thing. But that is the future. And these guys mention it in several different, if you look at videos, the future is going to be, VA lady, you are the future. The future is going to be you working for 2, 3, or 4 people, using AI to make yourself more efficient, still working less total hours, and you're doing what they talk about in this piece is the idea of what's called agency. Let me show you a piece about that. It's agency. What employers are going to be looking for now more than ever is not necessarily your specific skill set, because you can learn that through other ways. They're going to be looking for your agency. What does that mean? Your initiative. Can you get stuff done without someone asking you, without someone telling you, right? Can you do stuff? Can you work without being told? And boy, that makes some people unhappy. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm giving them my time, my energy. To be very forward, for those of you who feel like, I don't want to give my time, my labor, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares except government. Sorry, government cares. Once the government finally bends, and it will eventually, whether that's 5 years or 10 years, it will bend. It will have no choice. We'll have to bend eventually. And why? Because big business will force them. That's what big business will force them. So at one point, because big business runs our government, they will force government to stop at one point. I'm not sure when that is. And no one cares. Can you get shit done? You can't? You're done. I don't mean to be mean, but that's what's going to happen. You're going to go on UBI. UBI is the answer. I hate that I said it, but that's going to happen. And let me give you the other piece I want to bring up. I will bring up the agency. Let me see if I can find the agency piece real fast. Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can grab this piece real fast about this. And then I have another video I want to show. This is from that same video talking about agency. Let me find that piece real fast, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
When you said agency is going to remain as an important thing, we're sat here talking about AI agents. And the crazy thing in a world of AI agents that have super intelligence is I can just tell my agent, listen, I'm going on holiday. Please build me a SaaS company that spots a market opportunity, throw up the website, post it on my social media channel.
There are now AIs that will make your entire website in a day. Whole website done. Everything, to include connecting it to being paid, banking, the whole deal.
I'll be in Hawaii. And this new agentic world is stealing that too, because now it can take action. In the same way that I can browse the internet, I can call Domino's Pizza, speak to their agentic agent, organize my pizza to be there before I even wake up. And in fact, predictability, OpenAI now learns, and Sam Altman said that they've expanded the memory feature. So it knows it's knowing more and more and more and more about me. It'll almost be able to predict what I want when I want it. It'll know Steve's calendar, he's arriving at the studio, make sure his cadence is on the side, make sure his iPad has the brief on it, do the brief, do the research for me, and everything else. So it'll remember.
That's what people are going to expect. And everyone will, not just CEOs like him, everybody will. So to your point, my VA lady, you're going to expect that from your AI. And you may be working for somebody. So you're not the CEO. You're working for him or whomever. And so you get up in the morning, whenever time you get up and say, I don't know, you want to start your work day at 9 or whenever you decide. And when you walk in there, your AI has 4 or 5 things set up. It's got I hope you're still working for me. It's got my website up there, showing you what I'm doing, his up there, showing what he's doing, all that stuff. And you can work on all those things. And hey, I'm going to work for Larry for an hour, and I'm going to work for an hour. And people say, but you work for an hour, you need paid. No one's going to care. You're going to get a monthly flat fee. He's not going to care. I'm not going to care how many hours you work in a given day. No one's going to care. Does the job get done? Did you work for 5 minutes using AI, or did you bust your ass for 48 hours straight? We're not going to care. The idea of labor for dollars, hour for dollars, that's been dead for at least 20 years, but no one wants to accept it. No one wants to accept it. And let me say this one more time. Nobody who is super wealthy made their money because they have a high salary. Nobody. One more time. Nobody. Nobody made all their money and super wealthy because of a high salary. That's not a thing. And that will go away also. It's already on its way out. I hope that at least makes sense for you guys. So I wanted to bring that piece up. They want to make sure that someone's actually getting stuff done. It can be done. That's a piece that matters. So yes. All righty. Morgan says, I did see a headline about the younger women vying for older men and money wasn't a factor. Yes, it is. That's a lie. But yes, it's true. A lot of younger women are dating. In our world now, the people who are doing the best are younger women and older men. Older women and younger men are doing very badly. The reverse is true. And they're dating each other. It's true. It is definitely happening. That's absolutely true. So, all right, Roger says, women come together and start forming co-ops. Now, that would be a good idea, Roger. It will be a challenge because you put too many of them in a room and then the cat's claws come out. Katniss goes into full effect, but you can still do it. It depends. But yeah, I get your point. Yes. Yeah, I get your point. But that would be a good idea. I hope that works. Yes. Mr. Hand says, scarcity can be dealt with, surplus can't. I'm not sure where you're going with that one. Lunatic says, we already have too much convenience and abundance. That's my problem, Lunatic. I agree with you. I'm not sure we want to go there. I'm with you. That's my whole point. You read my mind. That's my worry, right? I like that. It sounds good. I love the sound. Abundance, it sounds amazing. But lots of things sound amazing and aren't really amazing. So yeah, they aren't all that great. So yeah. Joel over on Rumble says, AI will never catch on, just like the internet of moving pictures. It's true. It's a fad, Joel. It's a fad. It's like that what's that that email thing? You know, that on computers now. You know, whatever. Anyway, Freedom says, do you think the lady from stands a chance against? Oh, okay. Someone's asking about the. Okay, sorry, totally different topic. I didn't get it. Someone on Instagram is asking about whether Elise Stefanik has a chance of beating Kathy Hochul. Currently, no. At this point, no. I mean, maybe things could change, but right now, no. This state is still. We're gonna have Cuomo as our mayor, dude. New York City's about to have Cuomo as a mayor, and you think Stefanik can beat Hochul in New York State? We're about to have Cuomo as our mayor. Zero chance right now. And I mean right now, zero. Things would have to change tremendously for her to have any chance in this state. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just saying that's the reality. So yes. Craig says, why are you the only one talking about and putting the pieces together of a coming unemployment and public assistance crisis? Plus, data for labor statistics has been manipulated for you. True, Craig. Mike, I'm not going to get triggered. If Mike's watching, he gets mad when I get triggered. I have such a frustration, Greg, to your point, such a frustration. It makes me partially wish I had not stood up during the lockdowns. And please take this the right way. Prior to me standing up for the lockdowns in 2020, I could do one show on one platform and get 5,000 views like that. I just got off my governor run. I was sponsored. I had sponsors. I was in the studio. Everything was rocking and rolling. Then the lockdowns came. Studio shut down. I shut my studio down. I came back, started doing stuff from my home studio, and I started saying how bad it was. And I got shadow banned on every single platform, and I've never been able to recover. It's been 5 years, Craig, and I can't recover. It makes me want to quit. I tell my team this all the time. I'm like, do I want to keep doing this? I should just stop. I just lose money on doing this because I can't make enough money. I can't get enough viewership so that I can get enough sponsors or so I can make enough money from YouTube. So I just lose money every single fucking month. I just lose money doing this because it won't grow. Even though you're right, I'm the guy, and I have data showing that I'm correct in all these things. Craig, I was on Joe Rogan. It doesn't matter. They have turned me down and banned me so badly. I wish they had just shut my system, just shut me down. I'd be able to reboot. But I keep having hope that maybe I'll just restart the entire thing. Just reboot everything because I can't grow. And it is very frustrating for me. You are right, Craig. Very often I'm the only guy talking shit. I'm the only guy talking to people. It's true. And maybe that's why that I just can't grow out of this. It's why you see me every 20, 30 minutes, I'm bugging you. Hit the like button, hit the like. Why am I doing that so much? Because I'm bored? Because I like doing it? No. Because I'm hoping that eventually I can break through this goddamn algorithm and actually move forward. But maybe I'm wasting my time. Maybe I am, Craig. Maybe I'm wasting my time. I enjoy doing it, so I still do it. We'll see. I'm sorry. I didn't get that triggered. I'm stopping. See? I'm stopping. You are correct. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to stay triggered. I'm going to keep going. So yes. Any case, let me grab a couple of these if I could. I'll just keep going here. So, righty. Let's see here. Keijon says, when if the grid goes down for whatever reason, and those are certainly stacking up, to put it succinctly, it will be a shite show. Living off grid is looking better and better for me and the boyfriend every day. A lot of people feel the same way. You're not alone. A lot of people feel exactly the same way. You are not alone with that. All right. I want to now go. I talked about all those things that I talked about, right? All the people who are getting laid off, what's happening, right? It's AI, it's this. But this is a secondary piece of this I'm going to bring up. And this is from Zac Rios. And he talks about, hold on, so I can grab these. He talks about what's happening for the actual people, the actual workers and how they feel and what they're doing. And hold on, this is what people are doing. And this is kind of interesting. All right.
I've applied to 300 plus jobs since August, and I've heard back on none of them.
Come with me to get laid off.
This is what it's like to work in accounting and finance in a private.
Yeah, this is the part that I want to, as you heard me say here multiple times, applying to 300 jobs is a colossal waste of your time, money, and energy, and it breaks your soul, which you just saw her do. It breaks your spirit. It's soul crushing. Don't do that. You want to be able to apply to specific jobs with special resumes and cover letters. If they don't read your cover letter, you're not getting the job. Don't bother. You want to actually apply to 330. Each one separate resume, each one separate cover letter. And now with AI, you can knock those out in probably 15 minutes or less. So yes, that's what you want to do. This is people think they should do that because people think they're entitled. People think because they have credentials that they have some value. And that sounds terrible. They don't care. Employers don't care. That they did maybe 30 years ago. I talked about this on Lou Perez's show earlier this morning, whenever it comes out. You know, people always say, Larry, no, you have to get credentials, you have to get college degrees. They make more money. People who have college degrees make so much more money over their lifetime than people who don't. Okay, how did they get that data? How do you get data on how much money someone makes over a lifetime? Well, they have to work until 65 or so. So that means the people you're talking to are 65 or older. And this data is from at least 10 years ago. So they're actually 75 years or older, which means they went to college in the 60s and 70s. If you went to college in the 60s and 70s, it was totally worth it. Absolutely, it was worth it. Of course it was. Hardly any people went. Hardly any people did that stuff. Of course it was valuable. So yeah, if you're looking from the people who are now 65, 75 years old, way better if you're going to college. How about now? Most Americans who go to college are underemployed. Most now are underemployed. 2008, I think it was Goldman Sachs did a survey, not a survey. They did a report on going to college. And back then, 15, 16 years ago, they said, if you're not going to an Ivy League school or a specialized school, college is not worth it. 15 years ago, they said that. I said that 20 years ago. Why are you going? Why are you going? Unless you have a plan or it's an Ivy League school or right. The reason, yes. Otherwise, why would you do that? It makes no sense. These guys all still think it matters. This guy's in accounting and financing. Did we just say how that's getting replaced? Yes. He's feeling it too. So, Phil, thank you for the gifted membership, guys. Yes, please grab one. Andrea, thank you also. Take those memberships. Remember our rule, guys. If you're making $2 million a month or more, you may not take a gifted membership. If you're making less than $2 million per month, please enjoy. But if you are making $2 million a month, pay the regular $49. You're making $2 million a month. What are you doing? Pay the $5. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you. Peace. Also, thank you for the gift, guys. Please grab those memberships. Membership does matter. I appreciate every membership we can get. Please keep them coming. I try to grab my members first whenever I can, all the time. All right.
Private company in America.
So today we're going to be taking a look at the job market because I'm not going to lie to you, it is not looking good out there. I know
Not
that
at
these
all.
videos hit home with many people all over the country right now. So we're going to be taking a look at what people are going through just to try to get a job, what they deal with while they're at the job, including some incredibly embarrassing pay for what you do, and the lack of security when it comes
Well, yes, that's how bad it is. It is
to
bad.
being
but there's
laid
more.
off at a moment's notice. We also have some comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below, but we're just going to jump right into it.
Tell me why I interviewed for a job and I went through 4 interviews. First of all, they reached out to me to ask me if I was interested in the job. So they saw my LinkedIn. I sent them a resume ultimately, and I was like, yeah, cool. Like, let me, I'm interested. They all looked at my qualifications. They looked at what qualifications I didn't have, right? Let's start there. And then they were like, yeah, let's interview. So I went through 4 different people, 4 different interviews, actually 5 people. Only at the very end to be told that I didn't have the qualifications that they were.
Now, the reality of it is they didn't like her, but they can't say that because they might get sued. That's the reality. They didn't like her. And that's the hard part. People don't want to understand that. They thought that she was a problem. That's the actual issue. I know that sounds terrible, but that's the actual issue. So yeah, I wish it wasn't that. So anyway, let me see if I can grab some more of these right here. This is, oh, great. Thank you. Can a libertarian, big or small, become public advocate for New York City to counter Cuomo and city council? At the very least, voters might agree to abolish the position. A couple things. We've tried that in New York City in the past. And thank you for $20, my friend Greg. We did it with borough president. Borough president in New York City is an utterly useless job. It is just a grifter's job, literally a grifter's job. For those who don't know, being a borough president in New York City literally has no power. It's not like a county executive upstate, which actually has some power. The reason why it has no power is because we have a mayor. So what does it do? It's a multi-million-dollar budget. I'm dead serious. And it has, again, literally no power. You can't make any rules. It's ceremonial. What does that mean? It's griftopia. So we tried it. Libertarians tried running, and they ran literally to abolish the position. That was the goal, to abolish the position. Didn't work at all. Could we try it for public advocate? Probably not. And the reason is, believe it or not, Jumaane Williams here in New York is very popular. I know him. I met him. We literally did a home run derby together when we both ran for governor in 2022. He's a good guy. If you meet him, you'll like him. The problem is he's very popular, and no one's probably going to beat him. And the second piece is public advocate also has no real power. For those who don't know, public advocate is basically like a lieutenant or vice mayor. It's like that, because if the mayor has to leave or is removed, the public advocate steps in. I know it seems odd. That's how New York City works, but it has no actual power. So the mayor, to run things, appoints deputy mayors. I know it seems that's what we do. We appoint deputy mayors, and they're almost always family and friends. Again, I'm not joking. That's how New York City does it. Mayor Adams put his sisters in. Yes. And purposely made only, there's 5 of them, they're only women of color. Literally said that. Said, I'm only a woman of color, and it's only women of color. That's it. That's who our 5 deputy mayors are. And I think 1 or 2 are his sisters. Sister or sisters. Yeah, that's true. So those are deputy mayors. But the public advocate is someone who steps just in case. So can a libertarian become public advocate? No. Not now. We tried it with the borough presidents, and Jumaane Williams is very popular. People like him. He's a nice guy. I don't think he's beatable. I just don't. So just give me my opinion. I don't think he's beatable. I can't see it. So, all righty. I want to keep going down. Where was I? I was just at that one. If I could find that one. Hold on. There we go. Yes. Okay. I got to find a couple more of these if I could. Hold on. The pieces that I wanted to pop up here, if I can find the ones I really enjoyed, I think it was the quitting part and the filming layoffs. There, that's what it was. Okay. Let me find that part if I can. All right. This is the filming of the layoffs piece. And this part is actually sad that people are feeling. This is what I was talking about, all the layoffs. This was made like 9 days ago. So this is very recent.
significantly lowered my expenses. Good luck, everyone. And that sounds very depressing. And we could see another clip of somebody recording themselves also getting fired.
Come with me to get laid off. I joined a meeting with my manager this morning and HR was there, so I knew immediately what was happening. My company has not been doing well lately, but I just naively thought that'll never affect me. I thought wrong. My initial reaction was to cry, not out of sadness, but just out of pure shock. And my parents happened to be in town, which I am so grateful for today. Although the reason they're in town is that I just bought a new home. Talk about timing. I still have to furnish this home, even though I'm not going to be making any money. So I went furniture shopping. I took a quick mental breakdown in actually furniture, just contemplating what my life looks like now. But then I realized I just need to eat and that'll make me feel better. So we went out to lunch and then I realized I could just take a nap right now in the middle of the day. So
This is TikTok.
that's what I did. I had a hair appointment that I had already
Okay. Was it Mr. Han who said AI is rotting your brain? No. TikTok rots your brain.
booked, and there was a lady there who was just totally rubbing in my face that she was employed. How rude. And then I went and got a milkshake to emotionally eat before sitting down to file for unemployment. As it turns out, since I worked one day this week, I have to wait until next week to get any benefits. So see you back here then.
So from this video and the last comment from you guys, you can see the vast differences of the reactions to getting laid off. I know it was terrible timing, her just buying a house and then getting canned, but probably need to hold back on spending money right now, especially in this job market. You applying to a few jobs in Indeed basically gets you nowhere right now. It is a long process to find another job. We can look at a couple of comments. You 100% don't have to furnish anything if you don't have a job. Sit and sleep on the floor. I mean, I know that sounds kind of messed up, but if no money is coming in right now, what else are you supposed to do? Do not furnish or shop. You don't need that right now. Save.
And I got to be clear, a lot of these, you're going to see, a lot of these are women. They're getting hammered. 80%. You saw that. It is a big issue. Yes. It is a big issue. Yes. Shelly says, I wanted to live off the grid since I was a kid. A lot of people did. Absolutely. Mr. Han says, UBI is a pit stop on the way to hell. True. I'm not a fan of UBI. I just know it's going to be their answer. That is going to be their answer. Just, what else are you going to do? Mr. Han, if you have another answer, my ears are wide open for it. But I don't think they're going to hear this at all. They can't stop giving out money. They can't stop giving out money. They keep doing it. Morgan says, you heard it first, Lars. UBI is the answer. It is. I wish it wasn't, Morgan, but you're right. You see it. You can see the writing on the wall, can't you? Mr. Han's like, it's a pit stop on the way to hell. We're on our way. Yes, it's a pit stop. We're on our way. It's clear. This is what I'm saying. It's clear. I wish it wasn't true. There we go. Morgan says, predict what I want before I want it. Minority Report. Ooh, I like that. That's good. I like that. Kim says, I hope you don't think AI is going to make us all wealthy. No, it's going to make some people very wealthy. And it will be some people who aren't wealthy now. Like some people are going to jump on board and going to get super wealthy right away. So some people are, Kim, but not all of us. No, abundance doesn't mean these people, when they're talking about abundance, they're not talking about like everyone has a lot of money. They're talking about what Lunati's talking about. It's the old, you'll own nothing and be happy. It's that type of abundance we're talking about. Not I have lots of money. It'll be you own nothing, you'll be happy. You'll be sitting in your AI, whatever, goggles and world. And that's what we're talking about. Not everybody is going to make money. I mean, some people will. So yes, absolutely. Craig says, you're the only hope I have for New York. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Andrew says, I would follow you wherever you go. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. The lady says, we need Larry. Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. Yes. Andrew says, a grand inspiration for us all. Thank you. Oh my God, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do. I really do. Thank you. Thank you. I try to keep going, but man, it can be a pain. Sam says, I hate government action, but I really toy around with making a law to make our goals published or at least independently reviewed to ensure non-discrimination. I think there's a way you can do that and make it libertarian. Here's the way you do it. You make any social media has two choices. Choice one, it is a membership only, similar to like you pay $2 to be a member a month or whatever. Membership only. If it's membership only, that you have to pay a fee to join it, it is considered private. It is not the public square. It is not affected. They can keep all the algorithms as any way they want. If it is public, meaning it is free, anyone can be on board. It doesn't matter. Anyone can join. It's public. That by default makes it the public square. And if it's the public square, you must publish your algorithms. I think it's that simple. So you have a choice. I don't want it public. I want to make it private. Fine, private. It's your own thing. Good luck. People have to pay. You do that, we're good. You don't have to publish. But that's not how YouTube works. YouTube has to be public domain. Has to be free for everybody. So you are now the public square. You're not private now. You're public square. You're saying everyone can show up. Okay, show your algorithm then. I think that makes it libertarian, or libertarian-ish at least. It's the right answer. Sarah says, thank you for $10. Join at discount, just at Discount Tower. One more time. Sarah, thank you for the $10 and being a member. Just at Discount Tire, talking to the kids working there, none older than 23, discussing this type of work versus trade with them. Won't robots replace them very soon? Some of the work is very precise. For them, many of the people will be replaced by robots and or AI. A lot of them will. And that's the sad part. You're going to be, the human will be the manager, right? The human will be the manager. That's the issue. So can they manage the AI to get things done? And also once in a while, you're going to have some guy who walks in, some gal walks and goes, I want to talk to a human, get the robots away from me. And that person says, oh, I'm a human, I'm here. A human's here. What's going on? You can have that happen too. So yeah, I think, yeah. If there's, for sake of argument, say there's 5 people in a store, there'll be 1 or 2. That's what will happen. And you'll actually be able to do more services with 1 or 2 people. That's what actually happens there. That's the future. So Joel says, you'll own nothing and like it in your 15-minute city living off UBI. That is what they want for the future, Joel. It's not good. That's abundance, as they say. That is abundance. I'm not happy with that abundance. But yes, I think that's what they mean by abundance. So yes, any case. All righty, let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. I grabbed that one already. I appreciate that. I grabbed that one already. That's all good. Yes. All righty. Let me grab a couple more. Shelly, thank you for the member, says, when are we going to discuss Teacher James being in a vacated seat? Didn't she just get, I think she just got, if I'm not mistaken, just this week, did she get an official summons or something? Odds are, Shelly, I'll be talking about that next Tuesday. That's a very New York thing. So I tend to move New York things to my Tuesday radio show. I tend to, but I might do it. Other places I might. So maybe, I don't know, but soon. I think if you remember when it first happened, I said none of it matters until the feds actually do something. I think this week they did. So if the feds don't do anything, it's irrelevant. But I think it's just in this week. So it'll be happening soon. I hope that answers your question. So Craig says, Popular, what does he do? He does tons of stuff in the, see, you don't see. What Yamani does very well is he shows up places. He does. Like he'll literally be at a barbecue in Brooklyn. He will show up. That's what he does. He just shows up places. He's good at glad handing, meeting people. Any protest, he'll be there. That's what he's good at. That's what he does. People like it. So yeah, that's why he does. Yes. You asked and I told you that's what he does. Sarah, thank you for the $5. We need and deserve a Larry Sharpe show with guests. Kim Iverson, Glenn Greenwald, Thomas Massey, Ron Paul, Matt Kibbe. There may be some more subs. I agree. I want them all to show. But again, if you're Thomas Massey, I know Thomas Massey. I like him. If you're Thomas Massey, Glenn Greenwald, I know Ron Paul. I've opened for more than once. I know Matt Kibbe. I've been on his show more than once. Do you want to come on my show when your own show gets 10 times the viewership? You do. I could ask them to come on. Would they do it because I asked them? Yes. Right? Would Kim come on my show if I asked her? Yes. But her show gets 10 times what mine gets. So she'd rather be on her show or rather be on Glenn Greenwald's show. So I have to get my numbers up before people want to show up. I mean, I don't want to call in a favor, Sarah, if I don't need to, if that makes any sense. I'd rather call in a favor when I need to. So That's why I'm trying to work this out. I hope that makes sense at least. But yes, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I 100% I would love that. Yes. So, all righty. Where am I going here? Mr. Hand says, that's actually the best way to abolish the political position. We did try it. It did not work. JGJ says, what about Mamdani's chances? Seems like the more liberal a place, the more likely a socialist is getting the power. Zero chance. Zero. Mamdani has no chance. Cuomo is the next mayor. That's the reality. Now, the reality of it is Mamdani is probably running for the next thing. Here's my thought process on this. If you remember, Malinakis ran for governor 2 cycles back. Why? She ran for not governor, mayor, sorry. Malinakis ran for mayor of New York City 2 cycles back. Why? She was not going to win. She knew she wasn't. She was actually running because she knew she would gain more. She'd gain more followers. She'd gain more donors. She'd put her public figure up more so she could run for Congress. And it worked. She's a congressperson now. Very well done. Good job. Well done. I think Mamdani's doing the same thing. He wants to be a congressperson. Now, where would he run for? Oh, he's in AOC's district. I know because AOC is my congressperson and Mamdani is my assemblyman. So they're both in the same district. I know they're both mine. Yes, I live in the belly of the beast. Mamdani is assemblyman and AOC is my congressperson. So yes, I live in the belly of the beast. So when AOC runs for either VP slot or for senator, whatever she runs, that's going to vacate her seat. Mamdani takes that seat. That's what I think happens. Mamdani runs for her seat and takes that seat, keeping a DSA member in the seat, which is what they want here. DSA is very popular here in my area. Very popular. So yeah. Shelly says, UBI is an excellent way to control the people. True. True. You are on. Yes. True. Rick says, how about a 20-hour work week? Look, my point is it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because who cares how much income per hour you get? That's my entire point. And if you look at, again, the wealthiest people say all the time, these wealthy people, they work hard. They work all day. No, they don't. I know. I trained them. They don't. I'm not trying to be mean. They don't. How can you think that these guys work so hard all the time when they have time to go on vacation every month? When they can do charity work every month? When they can go to the gym every day? You working that hard? You're not. You're not. You're working smart. You know, the people working for you. That's why they're super wealthy. The super wealthy don't work 80 hours a week. No. People who are not wealthy work 80 hours a week. People who are so wealthy don't work 80 hours a week. I train them. They don't. I know they don't. They work maybe 20 hours a week. It's true. They go to the gym every day. They go on vacation every month. They travel all the time. They go to conferences all the time. They're on TV if they get interviews. They're on podcasts. How you working 80 hours a week? You're not. So that's my entire point. And that's been true for years. And the wealthy have known this for years. I tell you this so you know it. The wealthy have known this for years. That's the issue. For years they've known this. And that's how it has to actually work. So you have to stop making money based upon that. Wade says, abundance of nothing is to nothing. Well, it feels better. It's warm, fuzzy feelings, Wade. See that? It feels good. There we go. It feels good. There we go. I love that. So, all righty. Andrew says, I'd pay to see Larry Sharpe show with Jacob Winograd from Biblical Anarchy. Didn't I have him on my show once before? I think I might have. Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. I think I don't know. I have to talk to him. So yeah. Do you know him? Reach out. Say I want to be on. I'll come on. All good. Yes. It's all good. Whatever you think will work. I think it does work. P says, I think what we all need is to create a master plan. Write it down and execute it. Let's imagine what utopia looks like, the closest version achievable. Our collective imagination creates the reality. It goes on. But if we don't know what it looks like, it won't happen. I'm with you. I think we do have to start thinking about what the master plan is, whatever that is. I think we do. It is important, right? I like the concept of us thinking that way. If you're not creating, you're in trouble, right? I'm gonna be very clear. If you're not creating, you're in trouble. Now, if you're already done, you're retired, who cares? But if you're working now and you want to keep working, you have to be somehow creating. Otherwise, I mean, it's just not going to work. It just isn't going to work. So yeah. All right. I want to pop up a couple more of these. The filming layoffs is one, but I want to go to this next bit about people quitting. This part to me blew me away. I was really surprised on how on what happened for this one. Let me present this if I can. This is like a new thing people are doing. And I like, wow, why are people doing this? But this is the thing, particularly the Gen Z people particularly are doing this.
Low.
I just quit my job to my boss's face. I told him that the $1,800 a week was not worth it. And I have no idea what I'm going to do. But I've got 6 weeks to figure it out because that's how much I have left to pay rent.
So she quit because it wasn't worth it. $1,800 a week. There's a lot of people who would be very happy with $1,800 a week. And she only has 6 weeks of money to pay her rent. And she quit because she don't like her job.
Her job wasn't worth it at almost $2,000 a week, $7,200 a month, which is almost $87,000 a year. I'm not.
There's a lot of people who would be very happy with $87,000 a year. Now, not everybody. And if you live in New York City, you just surviving on that. But assuming you don't live in New York City, $87,000 for a year, what's she, maybe 20-something? You're a 20-something, single, obviously, making $87,000 a year. This is not a bad deal.
Saying that's an unbelievable amount of money, but that's still a pretty good salary. And you can see by everybody's comments under this video, seems like she made the wrong choice. I wish for $1,800 a week. You just made the worst decision ever. Yep. $1,800 a week, send your boss my way. $1,800 a week, is that after tax? I'm only getting $1,200 after tax every 2 weeks.
Bingo.
Maybe that's not enough if you live in an extremely high cost of living.
You live in New York City. That's still a good, but okay, you're probably have a roommate, you're New York City, but that's like maybe LA. That's about it. You can survive in Chi-Town on that. You can survive in Boston on that. So most parts of the world, you can survive on that. Okay, Tokyo, you can't, but she's not in Tokyo clearly, right? But you know,
living area. But I would say for many people, almost $90,000 a year salary is probably a pretty good deal in this market. Good. Similar to the trend we saw previously of people admitting their worst financial mistakes. We have one on board. Tell me the worst thing you've ever done as an employee. Like you definitely should have been fired, and it's a miracle nobody found out.
And people are proud when TikTok puts this kind of stuff up. Mr. Han, you were wrong. I'm not trying to be a nudge here. Right now, I am. It's not AI that's brain rotting. It's TikTok. TikTok is always full of women telling on themselves, self-reporting. They can't stop. TikTok should be called women telling on themselves. That's what it should be called, because that's what it is.
There were many, many comments of people just outwardly admitting bad things they did at work. I used to.
All women. Look at that. All women.
Work at Menchie's, which I did not know was a place, but apparently is a frozen yogurt store. And whenever I had a rude customer, I would pretend to type in their rewards number, but I'd actually type in mine. I used to put in to-go orders for a guy named Roman. When he didn't come pick it up, I would get to eat it. Roman never existed. I had a rude customer and cursed her out with a smile on my face. So when they called in to complain about me, they rolled the footage and they assumed she was lying because I looked so polite. When I worked.
Why would you say what? I wonder why I can't get hired. Why would you? People check your social media.
At a grocery store and someone's car declined for things like diapers, formula, and baby food. I would change the items to 0 so they could take all the stuff and my drawer wouldn't be short. The next comment I thought was pretty funny as well. This comment section is why they're replacing us with AI.
That's why I wanted to show you this video. For that comment right there. For that comment right there. This comment section is why they're replacing us with AI. True. These are all young women. These are all young women. And that's why they're all being fired. They're all being laid off. I know I sound terrible, but it's true.
Unfortunately, none of these are as heinous as mine, so I'm going to stay quiet. At least one person had the sense to not admit what they did at their job that was most likely illegal for nothing, for just likes on a TikTok.
For likes
comment
on a
section.
TikTok.
Because I
It's all
bet
TikTok.
if you really wanted to start looking at these accounts, you could find out who they are. Most of these don't have their full first and last name, but you could do a lot more digging than you think online, and you could probably...
And AI will help you dig now. There will now be AI programs to find out who is who that will go through all the systems to figure out who is who. So all they do is put your name or whatever your stuff is in the AI program. It'll find out who you are, see the crap you said and go, I'm not hiring you. And what will happen? They'll go, oh, you don't have qualifications, which is why I showed you the first woman who said, I went through these things and they said, I have qualifications. No, they didn't like you. You probably had bad this or bad this or bad the other thing. Yeah.
Find out who a lot of these people are. I worked at a ski resort and was giving employee discounts to anybody who was nice. Tell me to have a great day. Yeah, you get 50% off. Not my money. There are pages and pages of comments like this. And I'm, of course, not trying to...
Why would you hire the... I mean, you might go, well, Larry, corporations are evil. People are evil too.
Defend these companies right now, especially for all the hoops you got to jump through and how much more work you have to do because they're laying off people to still have increasing profits, which just in turn makes everybody who's still there work even more for, of course, no increased pay whatsoever, but basically ratting...
But they aren't working that hard, clearly.
...yourself out like this in comment sections can't be the smartest thing to do. I mean, all for a few thousand likes on TikTok, like, what are you doing?
The girl who got fired for wearing a tube top and a mini skirt to her second day of work.
This is the next thing. Women are deciding that dress codes, I'm not joking, are sexist. So you can't have dress code. So they come in any way they want and dare you to fire them. This is a thing now. I wish it wasn't. It is. So they basically come and dress like they're going to the club to work. And you're going to get fired. Why? Because you're begging for a lawsuit. If you go to work dressed like you're in a club, men are going to look at you. And when that happens, you're going to sue. So if I'm your boss, you're fired. Gone before you give me a lawsuit. I'd rather take your lawsuit of you me firing you than you get me 75 lawsuits from 18 men who look at you. No, you're gone. And that's what it is now. When the women come in this way, they're immediately fired. They're gone. And I'm all for it. All for it.
And lost like a $200,000 job. I don't feel bad for that person. I saw a video earlier where someone was saying that dress codes are like inherently misogynistic and what should it matter what people are wearing, et cetera, et cetera. That's a very valid conversation to have. But hello, in this job market, honey, to make that choice to wear a tube top, you know that that's not the norm. You know you are going against.
And the point is, if you have that issue, then you should work for a company that agrees with you. And there are companies that would agree with you. They would go, that's misogynistic. We don't have dress code. Wonderful. Go work for that company. And you can wear whatever you want. Have all your goodies hanging out if you want to. Up to you. But if you know what company you're in, no, because you got to be righteous. Because you got to show them and fight the patriarchy. And now you lost your job.
The social contract, essentially. The professional contract. You took a risk and you failed. And for what? What did you get out of that? The train has flown so far off the tracks. Like, people need to get a grip with certain things. And in this climate, in this job market, like, things are so precarious as it is. Don't be a idiot. Like,
she's not wrong.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
But that possibility for attention and likes and followers on social media is basically a drug now. So some people's comments...
As I said, Mr. Hand, I keep saying it. TikTok is rotting brains, not AI. TikTok is rotting brains, not AI.
Sense is thrown right out the window. We made a whole dedicated video on my second channel talking about this and a lot of different examples, which funny enough got limited ads. YouTube did not like that I was talking about it. It was a little too risque for their site. So if YouTube didn't like me even speaking about the incident on their site, do you think it would have gone over well if you decided to do that at your corporate 9-to-5?
Thank you.
Like she said, in this climate, losing a $200,000 a year job for some clout seems pretty...
I don't care where you live. $200K a year is a great salary. I don't care what city you're in. You can survive in New York City. $200,000 a year, you're doing good. You're any city in America, you make $200 grand a year, you're good. You live outside of a major city, you are living large. You are living large outside of big cities.
Insane to me. We could look at some of the comments. If you don't have critical thinking skills to not wear a tube top to work, then you're not capable of having a corporate job. Now we're going to go over to one of the possible solutions that many people will talk about in any of these job videos all across social media. And that's talking about getting into trades, which I generally agree with, but there are definitely cons that come into it. But we're just going to start off with this clip and the results of this guy posting this video.
I have been a contractor for 20 years now. Talking to a friend today, I came to this realization. When is the last time you drove by a job site and seen a bunch of 20-year-olds working?
Yep.
All the contractors out there, what's the average age of your employees?
30-something, 40-something.
The majority of construction workers and tradespeople in this country are in their late 30s to 60s.
The average tradesman in New York State is 55. Let me say it again. The average tradesman in New York State is 55. Now, I'm not against my 55-year-olds. That's my age. I'm fine with that. I'm saying that should not be the average. The average should be 35, 40 should be the average, because you got people who are 20, who are 30, who are 60, who are 40. You should have that. 55. Who's going to fill those jobs? Oh, right. Yeah, migrants. And you keep thinking that that migrant crisis was a crisis and was a mistake. No. Someone's got to go to the trades. Someone's got to do the AI jobs that the AI is not doing. That's migrants, because Americans won't do it. And you cannot tell me, people, that, well, you got to pay more. You make a living. This guy's happy. 20 years of tradesman. He's not, was he poor? He's not poor.
What's the future of the trades going to be like?
They're going to speak Spanish, my friend. They're going to speak Spanish. The future of the trades is Espanol.
Because even the young ones that we have now, they're just laborers for the most part. Nobody wants to learn any skilled trades anymore or take time to learn them. But our country's work ethic in general has declined so significantly.
So you can blame all the greedy corporations. They are greedy. You can blame AI. It's true. And you got people quitting $98,000 a year, $87,000 jobs a year because whatevs, quitting $200,000 jobs because I'm going to wear what I want. You got that going on. And people who won't go into trades because it's not cool enough for some stupid reason. Yes. This is a combination of bad things. And big business saw this years ago, as did I 7 years ago. I got the receipts. I talked about it 7 years ago when I ran for governor in 2018. I spoke about it then too. Big business known for years. What was the response? Migrants. That was the response. That's the answer. Yes, that is the answer. Let me head over to back over to Rumble here. P says, for those interested in some inspiration, Tony Robbins has a free 3-day event. You missed it today, but there are 2 more days. It starts at 1 p.m. and goes for about 3 hours each day. Thank you, Peace. I appreciate that. That's great. Yes. Joel says, I wish Elise Stefanik's team would watch Larry's content and steal his ideas for governor. Me too, Joel. If anyone happens to be watching on Elise Stefanik's team, please go to LarrySharpe.com and steal everything. Please. In fact, it's not stealing. I'm begging you to take it. I'm begging you openly to take all of my ideas. Please do so. I would love you to. Please do that. Yes. So it's not stealing. I'm giving it to you for free. That's why they've been on my website for 7 years. Anyone could have taken them, but they don't. But you can. I'm making it public. Just take them. Just take them. It will be amazing. I'd like you to fix my state and me not have to bust my ass and run again. Right? I'd like to not have to run again. Running is brutal. It is punishment. When I was done my first run, I was 6 figures in debt. Yes, I didn't work for 2 years. A family of 4, 2 kids. Yeah, $100,000 in debt when I was done. Second time, $40,000 in debt. And couldn't even get in a ballot. Another year of my life gone. Do y'all want to do that? I don't. Would I? Yes. But if she would take my stuff and fix the state, I wouldn't. It's not. Why do you think it's so hard to get people to do it? Because it's punishment. That's the reason. It's punishment. So let me grab a couple of super chats if I could. Phil, thank you for $2. Are smart people lazy and use shortcuts for good and bad? Smart people lazy and use shortcuts. It's not lazy. It is efficiency and wanting to live their life to the best of their ability. That's what it actually is. Trying to, yes. Sarah says, big channels will understand your shadow banning and want to support you. You deserve to call in a favor. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll call a couple in, Sarah. Maybe I will. P says, no, Larry, Tesla bot will take those jobs. No migrants required. How long before this happens? 2 to 3 years. Look, the reality is they already have a mechanical bricklayer. That's already a thing. There's already a mechanical bricklayer that already exists. So will there be some time? This is why he says, he goes, people are just laborers. They aren't learning the trades. Well, that's a problem. If they're just laborers, to Peace's point, a machine will do it. A machine will do it. If it's just labor, a machine will do it. You've got to be able to run the machines. That's the point, right? That's the point. If you want to go, if you know someone who's 18, 19, 20, 16, 17, particularly if they're a male, but a female too, but particularly if they're a male, do not, please go out here. Don't push them into college unless they know what they want to be like. They love math. They want to be an engineer. Great. Well, they can get themselves into an Ivy League school with that's wonderful networking. Awesome. They get themselves into the academy, either into Annapolis or West Point. Awesome. Do that. If they're just like, I'm going to go to college because I got a good score on my SAT, please stop them if you can. It's a terrible idea. Put them in trades. Put them in trades, get them understand AI, and have them make some money. They'll be happier completely building things, making things, creating things. They'll have cash. They maybe have a girlfriend. They have everything they want. It will work. So Sharpe Fan 12 over on Rumble says, trades is a cultural thing. For decades, the government and media told people they were a loser if they did not go to college. True. I hate that fact. True. It will take a generation to change that viewpoint. Yes. Accurate statement. Completely agree. I wish you were wrong, but you are correct. You are absolutely correct. I wish you were wrong, Sharpe Fan 12, but you are absolutely correct. So, yes.
Hopefully something changes.
So as you could see by the screenshot of this video, this guy turned off the comment section for this clip. So you could guess the amount of backlash he got for this comment, because honestly, there are a good amount of people who are taking that advice going into the trades. But before I get into any of my thoughts, we could look at this clip.
Hey, you remember how all the boomers in our lives told us we needed to get real jobs, get into trades?
Yep.
I did. When COVID hit, my bartending career ended. I did just that. I got into CNC work and I became a highly respected, highly certified machine operator. And programming, went to a internship for programming for a year across the country. I just took a position as a supervisor after 5 years, almost 5 years in this field, because I had to wait for a boomer who was in the position to retire. Now here's my problem. All right. I came into this position at over $50,000 less a year salary than he left it. And he wouldn't even respond to emails. He refused to. And they allowed him to do that because it was just Bill. They didn't expect Bill to know how to use the computer or join the Google Meets, but they do me. I'm working 10 times harder than Bill worked his entire career for $50,000 less. A real job. Live your passion and follow your dreams.
So maybe you can make the argument that that guy Bill has been there forever, and that's why he's making $50,000 more a year. However, he got grandfathered in going, I'm not going to use the computer.
He got grandfathered in. That's true. They didn't fire him because they want to get sued. That's correct. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Sarah says, wearing my Sharpe Way hoodie today. Oh, thank you. Which makes my day 3,000% happier. No, hold on. 300,000% happier. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I do. That's amazing. Thank you for that. The more, the better. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. Let's see. Stelline says, I think I may have booked you up from being on someone else's show. I'm often on other people's show. I go on their shows all the time. I was on 3 this week. I go on other people's shows all the time. You saw last week I was on someone's show, 2 different shows last week. I will go across all the time. I will. Sovereign Astrology, thank you for being a member, says, thanks so much for being you, Larry. You're a breath of fresh air in a stale and corrupt society. Oh, you guys are great. I really appreciate the nice things. It is good. Yes, I definitely appreciate that. Yep. All righty. Let me keep going down here. I grabbed that one. Okay, good. That's already grabbed. All right. That's all good too. Yep. All right. Everyone's talking about getting it. Oh, I love it. Yes. Guys, please. Yes. If for those of you who aren't into AI, please grab it. It does make sense. Just get involved. See it. Even if you don't want to use it, you should understand it. Absolutely. You should at least understand it no matter what, if you don't like it. So yes. Jean says, so what does that quitter do? How do I get her job? I know I want her job. Jean, I'm with you. That's some cash. So let me see if I can find some more stuff here if I can. That was getting into trades. I think I'm about done with that one. I think I finished up that piece. That's all I want to show you from that guy. Although it's kind of interesting. Those things were interesting pieces that I thought was good. So I got to go on, if I could, for a second. Guys, please click the like button. I bug you. Please do so. If you can, please share or repost this. If you would, I appreciate that. Every little bit counts. Join me on all the things, Facebook, X, and Rumble. Guys, thanks for becoming members. You can also become a member, $49 per month. Click that join button on YouTube or click that subscribe button on Rumble. All good. Why would you want to become a member? Because I'm going to do a member show again. I haven't done one yet, but I will schedule one probably for the end of this month or beginning of next month. So you can actually come on. Come on, chat with me. Sit here and talk. Do the whole deal. Love it. It does matter. Please do so. And you can submit reaction vids and also reaction documents. It's what Roger submitted. And also this video that you just saw was also submitted. So people submit these videos. I look at them. If they make sense, I can throw them together. I throw them together and we do reaction videos to it. So members get that ability to do so. So please, if you can, pop that up. I've been getting a lot of them recently. I haven't been able to view all of them because I think I got like 10 last week, 12. I got a bunch these last couple of days. So I haven't been able to go through all of them. But I will go through a bunch of them and see which ones seem to mix and match. Hopefully I can grab a couple of them. But either way, please click the button known as like. Mike Glass is in the house tonight. AI is both a symptom and accelerant. Understanding consequences are beyond too many because they have never been trained to do so. Yes. Well, there's another issue that's popping up, right? How fast can AI grow, right? Obviously quickly, but it needs data to grow. At one point, does it have to create its own data? And that's the scariest part. Already, AI hallucinates. If you guys know what hallucination means is AI says stuff that's not true. It's not always true. It sometimes calls hallucinates. It just makes stuff up sometimes. So what happens when basically AI has grown so much that it's absorbed all the available information? What does it do then? Does it just make its own stuff up? It might. It might. So yeah, I don't know. It might, and that's a problem. Yes. Phil says, do you think that profit sharing would incentivize better behavior? Generally speaking, no. Generally speaking, I've done a lot of training in this regard. Most people don't want profit sharing. It feels mercenary. Now, would they take a bonus? Yes. You might go, Larry, same thing. It's not. Emotionally, it's different. One is paying the mercenary, and the other is rewarding the hero. And that's how it's seen. For an example, Phil, if you worked for me and we had a profit sharing situation where for every $100 profit we make, you get a cut, you get 1%, 2%, 10%. That doesn't feel good. So if I want to incentivize you, I do the opposite. What I do is I say, hey, Phil, if we make over $100 a month in profit, then you get a $10 bonus. That feels way better. Now, I know it's very similar, but the way you come across does matter. How do I know this? I've run customer service teams and sales teams. Sales teams, most people who are good at sales, they prefer the mercenary style, which is why they're more mercenary. Sales teams and people who work in sales teams often enjoy that type of percentage profit set. They often like that. But the sales team is a small part of the company. The rest of the company, people in operations, people in finance, the people in customer service, they tend to feel that's mercenary. That's what the sales guys do. They don't really like that much. They would go on bonuses. If the team breaks a certain amount, then everyone gets a bonus. Sometimes, depending on what kind of world you're in, nonprofit world or something like that, you may not want to do cash. You want to do gifts, like gift cards, which is still cash, but again, feel better. Or I know what some people do is they would give out physically food, like you do it right, and he'd give out, it's a true story, give out turkeys and hams because it feels good to the staff. Every month we made our numbers, he would give out turkeys and hams to the office staff. So those types of things tend to be better. Now, some people do want money. I'm not against money, but the way you give the money does matter. So bonuses feel a whole lot better than percentages, unless you're in the sales field, in which case you're accustomed to it. So you can, but it is worked that way. But I will go back to more to actually I'd go back to actually the idea of co-ops. Ownership is even better, right? Even better if you can. It's nice to have profit sharing, but that goes away if you lose your job. But if you have ownership, you keep the ownership. So because that would also give you another option, right? You could take the money you get, and if you choose to, again, your choice. Let's say you join the company, Phil, and you have 1% of the company, and there's a yearly payout at the end of the year. You can choose to buy a larger percentage of the company if you want to, or get cash. And again, I want you to have options. You might be in a spot where you go, I need the cash. Give me the cash. Might be in a spot and say, look, I'm good on cash. I trust this company. I have ownership. I'm going to buy some other company instead. You got to if you want to, right? So you'd get that kind of option. You would choose what works best for you wherever you are in your life. And I think that's the way that, you can make that happen. So any case, Morgan says the dress code thing happened at Starbucks. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. There we go. Sarah over on Rumble says, thank you for the $1. Everybody do a Rumble rant. They only cost $1. Items at the dollar store don't even cost $1 anymore. True. You're not wrong. You go to the dollar store, it costs more than $1. It's not dollar store anymore. Yeah, it's called Dollar General, but it's not $1 anymore. 100%. Yes. Kim says, I had a woman lawyer show up in court in a miniskirt. I will never hire another female attorney. I understand your worry. I do. Because she was judged. Yes, she was judged, and you paid the price for that. Yes, she was judged. Phil says, wouldn't it be even more embarrassing if you dressed like you're going for the club and nobody looked? True. It's right. If you're gonna dress like you're going to the club, at least get some looks, or you're doing something wrong, right? Absolutely, I agree. Yes, absolutely, I like that. So, Mr. Henny, he responded to my TikTok thing. Maybe it's called suffrage because of the rage they're suffering caused on TikTok. TikTok is like a thing. Like, it's a thing. It really is a thing. I'm surprised it's a thing. Yes. And it's mostly women complaining. Yeah, 100%. Sarah says, as a special ed teacher, I gave all the parents the contact info of a female attorney who the school districts feared. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Yes, I do like that. All right. Let's see, go down here. Michael says 200,000, you'd be a king up here. That's my point. 200K is any city you're good, right? But you're not living in a big city. You live in large. You live in certain parts of New York State with 200K a year. You live in large. You got no problems. Yes. Mike says, we entered a dearth of trade skill workers about a year ago. We now must import those workers or the country grinds to a halt. The pain comes 2 to 5 years. Again, back to the migrants. People keep saying, how'd they get here? Because business wanted them. The average person didn't want them. We didn't want them. The average person, they picked the New Yorkers. It punished the average New Yorker, but they didn't care what we wanted. They said, oh, my big business guys want it. Done and done. That's what actually happened. Celine says, will AI robots take over the trades? Eventually, but we're far from that. We're further from that than other things. But eventually, even that will happen. Eventually, that will happen too. Yeah. And they'll just keep working. And if it's on a job site that isn't in a residential area, meaning it's like a new place, they'll work all night. You'll just have humans go in to supervise them. So humans will have shift work to supervise the robots who'll be working on AI. Yes, that's correct. And the advantage is errors will be cheaper. Right now, if you make a mistake in building a house or a building or whatever the case may be, fixing something, now you got to pay people overtime to redo it. Come in at night, next day. Robot screwed up, tear it down, rebuild it. I mean, there's going to be a spot where the robots are going to be something like $1 an hour, maybe total value, $1 an hour, maybe. That's it. I got 3 or 4 robots. I'm paying $3 an hour. If I tear it down, tear it down. It's fine. Kim says the trades require manual labor. Young people can't hang. They don't build much muscle playing video games and eating processed toxic food. Literally can't take the heat. That's the problem we have with our military. Most youngsters do not qualify for being in the military. It's true. It's a problem. You're right. Celine says, I saw a robot laying a nice floor in a video today. Yes, it's already on its way. Yep. Already on its way. Slowly but surely, it's going to happen. They're not there yet, but they're on their way. They are on their way. So Craig says, and bartender robots. Yes, they're on their way. There are already, to this day, there are factories called dark factories, which literally have there's no people in it. It's all robots. The entire factory is robots. Yes, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. So, yep. Morgan says, Larry is just as good a motivational speaker as Tony Robbins. Oh, thank you, Morgan. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. We are trying. So, yes. Morgan goes on to say 3D printed homes. Not a bad deal. Craig says, I don't fully agree that teaching can be replaced by robots/AI. Basic information gathering, yes, but connecting knowledge and application requires mentorship. Okay, Craig, two things. One, you're right, it won't completely replace teaching, but you will find every teacher will have a bunch of assistants that are AI. And AI right now can mentor. Yes, literally, if you can't, you should go into your AI if you want to and put in there, how can you mentor me in this, whatever, I'm trying to learn so-and-so, whatever that thing is, how can you mentor me? It will tell you. It will tell you how to use it. That's what AI does. It will absolutely do it. So it can mentor you. I know it sounds crazy, but yes. Wade says, education could be viewed as a supplement to your current career, not an interruption to your career. True. And the reality of it is, you need to be learning stuff all the time now. The idea, a concept of, I'm going to go to college and I'm done learning. Those days have been over for a long time. And if you don't want to learn anymore, I get it. Retire and then learn whatever you want to learn, however you want to. Retire, no worries. If you want to stay active in the job market, you must keep learning consistently. You can't stop. I spend hours every day learning. Hours every day. I'm either watching the video, reading a book, listening to the audio book. I use AI to ask questions. I have AI right now, at least once a week, do a full report on something for me every week, once a week, full report. And I go through the entire thing, decide what I like and don't like, and then watch videos based upon that so I can learn more. That's how I'm able to have the answers that I have. I use AI, I use videos, I use audiobooks. Every day, I spend hours. Prepping for a show is at least an hour, if not two. If not two. And I produce at least 10 hours of live content every week, if not 14, 16 hours of live content every week, but at least 10 every week. So if I do 10 hours of live content, that's 10 hours of prep time. So that's 20 hours a week on this show to lose money. Yes, that's 20 hours a week to this show. Yes, it is crazy, but yeah. Michael, you are in the house. Michael Beloff. I dropped out of a chem degree after a year and a half and joined moms in the family hearing aid business. Oh, I like that. Licensed to dispense within a year. Now you need an AUD to dispense hearing aids. Oh, so they made some type. Yes. Okay. Now they made a bridge now. I'm sorry. They pulled, you got up, they pulled the ladder up so no one else can go. Yeah. Terrible. Peace. Thank you for $1. Off topic because it's late. What do you use to cook your steak? Avocado oil. I'm testing my new Ninja Electric grill on keto. Just hit 170 pounds. Eat good for everyone. When it comes to steak, I use butter. Unsalted, grass-fed butter. That's what I use. I sometimes have used tallow, but tallow is so hard to clean, so hard to deal with. So I tend to use butter, but I will sometimes use tallow, but usually butter. That's what I use. I know off topic, but you asked. So that's what I use. I think that's not a bad idea. I like that. So, all righty. Duke of Hex, new member. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the membership. Thank you so much, guys. Everyone does count. I do appreciate it. 100%. I do appreciate it. That is amazing. All right. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Ron says, but how do you pick the most valuable things to learn? I see what's happening. And from that, one of the most important things that anyone can have is empathy. And what does that mean? Not sympathy. Sympathy is nice too, but empathy. Empathy is understanding why people are trying to understand why people think the way they think and do what they do. I learned very early on in my life that I am super empathetic. In fact, so bad that when I used to watch movies as a kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old, if someone in the movie was bleeding, I would start crying because I could feel their pain. I know, very weird, but it's true. I was maybe 6 or 7 and I watched people bleed and I would start crying. And I'm, why are you crying? Because they're bleeding. I could feel their pain. They were bleeding. And it's a movie, so it's not real, but I could feel their pain. Now, the weird part is eventually I started to actually think that was a problem. So I had to learn to not be so empathetic, shut my emotions off. When my father died when I was a kid, that was devastating for me. So I was able to become utterly apathetic. And that was a defense mechanism that I made. I don't know if I did it, purposefully or just as I might have created that self-defense mechanism out of emotional self-defense. So now people who know me, I can become insanely apathetic, just utterly cold, feel almost nothing. And I can be insanely empathetic, where I feel it. People think I can read their minds. Because I'm so empathetic, I can feel where they're going. I don't actually read their minds. I don't have magic powers. I wish I did. So with that in mind, how do I pick what's valuable? What I think most people are going to do and what's going to affect most people's, what I think to be true, that is what I look for. It's my gut. My empathy tells me where to go. I don't know how that is. My empathy tells me that's going to matter. That's people going to care about that. Or that's going to affect more people. And I walk down those roads. If you notice, lots of times things happen. I don't touch them. I don't bring them up. I'm not a news guy. My team often tells me, Larry, this is the news. But I go, it doesn't matter. And they go, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. Same old stuff. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Which is why I ignore a lot of things. I try to speak more on things that are cultural and political, that are larger, or that I personally like. Either one of those two things. The reason why I pick personally, because I enjoy it. If I'm going to do this damn show, I should do stuff that I enjoy. So I either do things that I think are bigger or things that I enjoy. Often the new stuff is just stuff. And I know it, so I ignore it. I hope that answers your question. It's probably not a great answer, but it's true. So, yeah. Rick says, the radio stations I retired from doesn't have any live announcers and runs all night in an empty building. Yeah, that's becoming more and more common. It's cheaper. You can just do syndication and pre-recorded, and like maybe on the weekends, they'll record like 10, 20 shows, and then everyone goes home and they just play them over the week. So yeah, I think that is true. Yes. Missy says, DM people you like to see collab with Larry. Slide into the DMs. Fly. That is a wonderful idea, guys. Missy's my ride or die. Been with me for 7 years. She knows. Missy knows. She said it. If you guys want me to be on some collab, DM them. Hey, you should have Larry Sharpe on, or go on Larry Sharpe show. Just go in their DMs, DM them. You'd be surprised how often they pay attention. And if they don't respond the first time, give them a second time. If you DM them 2 or 3 times, they'll at least notice. They may respond and go, no thanks, we don't like them or whatever, or they may respond. So yes, Missy also goes on and say, drop Larry's name under videos and in chats. There we go. Also nice. Absolutely. Also nice. All good. So Ron says, I live in Webster. I consider moving to Webster because the train station goes right through Webster. I considered doing that. I did. I considered moving to Webster a while ago, but I just didn't decide to leave New York City. But I did consider moving to Webster. It's not a bad area. I actually considered it about 3 years ago, I considered it. And then I was like, nah, I'll stay here. But I did consider it. So I like the area then. I remember that. So thank you for bringing that up, Ron. So Shelly says, I drop Larry's name everywhere. Thank you. I do appreciate that. That is important. Yes. So that's amazing. All right. Peace. Thank you for the $5. What about high-end chefs? How long before they're out and will direct the AI robot? Man, things are going to get crazy. I do think that could happen too. Absolutely. But the jobs that will stay are the people who will train the AI. The agency they speak about is the idea of being able to figure out what is next. The empathy I spoke about, how to know what to do, how to know what to look for, how to pick the right topics, how to respond effectively. I think that piece is what will happen. So I think you're right. The high-end chef is going to be able to have 5 restaurants because he or she is going to actually be able to control or direct the robots in every restaurant. So that's the issue. Yes. So Phil says olive oil is the one you want. No, olive oil has a, I forgot the point again. The burning point is too low. You don't want to use olive oil for steak because you want to fry your steak at high heat, right? To get the crispy on the outside. So that's why you don't want to use olive oil for steak. You want to use olive oil for things like if you can have a light saute, something like that. That's when you would use olive oil. But if you're gonna, high heat steak, broil or something like any of those, butter or tallow is gonna be your answer. One of those two. I think butter. Tallow is expensive, and it's hard to clean. So yeah, hard to clean. That's the issue. Very hard to clean. Mike says best way for individuals to expand their knowledge: spend 1 hour a day searching the topic that matters to you. Read all sides and any original reports, data. After a month, pick on the topic. Well, I like that. Best way for individuals to expand their knowledge: spend 1 hour a day searching the topic that matters to you. Read all sides and any original reports, data. After a month, pick on the topic. It's not bad. I do that weekly, but yes, I do a lot of this. But yeah, so there we go. Liberty Lady says Larry's going to be on the Are You Smarter Than a Politician game show in a couple of weeks. Ooh, yes, I will be. It's true. 30th I am? Who knows? I forgot. One of those. So yeah, something like that. Absolutely. So guys, I want to ask, if you don't mind, I want to ask you to please click the button known as like. It does matter. I know I've asked you 1,000 times. Please do it. If you haven't already shared this into someplace, please share this into something else if you can, right? That really helps tremendously if you can do so. Remember, the algorithm loves, if after this is over, to please comment wherever you're watching, please comment after the live is over. It does matter. Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, Rhythm loves when you do that. So please do that if you can. It's amazing. And of course, if when you're watching this is not live, you click on one of these videos that are popping up right now, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the job market? What do you think about the job market? Who's going to do well? Who's not going to do well? How do we handle the job market today? Please do it if you can, or watch one of these videos right now. I will see you all very soon.